Where would you find the world's most dangerous moustache?
Lord Selleck there.
Can I just point out that this bit of Hitler's moustache, is that a
shadow?
Jesus,
That's shadow.
is that, did he cut a bit off there? Is that a shadow?
That's what tipped him over the edge.
It was, yeah. He was shaving in his...
So we're criticising Hitler now,
Yes,
are we?
I know. The more I hear about him, the less I like.
Well, of course, we're in a menagerie world here, so this moustache is not belonging to a human being.
He's a shark. A moustache or a shark. That's dangerous.
Is it the moustached lizard?
Is it the Terry Thomas gecko?
Komodo dragon.
You could go dragon. It's not a dragon. It's not an iguana. It's actually...
The Komodo dragon.
Bedoing.
Oh, the gecko, a leaping
The
lizard.
great bouncing lizard.
Select frog.
A manga...
Amphibious.
The trampolining amphibious...
Other one.
Toad.
Is the right answer.
It's a toad.
It's a toad. It's the mustachioed toad.
Mustachioed
Wow.
toad.
The M.A. There it is. Look at that. That is
Look how he's done it.
seriously
He's gelled
dangerous.
it up.
Those studs. Again, we're back in the rutting world. They're
God,
there
look at that.
to tear at a fellow male so that you can get the right to mate.
And then give the worst snog of all time to a waiting female.
Oh, yes.
Nice. Well, it lives in China, and in the mating season, it builds up its forearms,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
partly for combat, but also for mating, for the grasping the female. And then it grows this moustache, and then they fight a male rival at the bottom of the river or stream over a particular female, and they aim for each other's stomachs to rip at them. And it's nasty business.
Yeah.
90% of toads involved in this kind of combat are injured. So it's really pretty...
God, it makes you
high
grateful to be a human, doesn't it, sometimes?
Yeah.
Really? That's your life? Underwater stomach ripping? You know?
Being intestinally jarred by somebody's weird pointy moustache.
Yeah.
Not for me.
When they then get the female, they fertilise the eggs that the female's laid. They get a little rock. They have to stay on the rock, or if, another male might challenge them for the rock and fertilise the spare eggs. And then when they are hatched, it sheds
Sheds its horns.
It sheds its
its
moustache
love horns.
and goes around clean-shaven.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The M-A-E-M-E-I.
Meme.
M-A, yeah.
What makes Australian spiders so dangerous?
It's their cunning and their organisation, Steve. And the fact they're willing to put the man-hours in. They will stalk you for weeks. They'll look for patterns in your behaviour, and they'll strike when you least expect it. Just as you're hovering over a poorly bee, holding a shoe high, that's when they'll come and bite you in the bum.
You mean the spider is working with the bee?
Yes. The bee is saying, there's not much longer left for me, but you could have a bit of fun here. Come on. Come in and bite him.
So is it that they sort of hide in loos?
Well, not deliberately, but the only real danger they seem to threat these days, since 1981, when anti-venoms were introduced all around Australia, there are two very poisonous types. There's the redback and the funnel web, the famous
redback's
funnel
very,
web.
People's reaction.
There's the redback.
Is it the way that people...
Yeah, that no one has died from a spider bite since 1981.
Yeah.
No one in Australia. But people have been in accidents, which have been fatal, some of them, and some have caused enormous damage, from spiders that have dropped out of sun visors in cars and fallen on people, and they go, "Ugh," like that, and then crashed. So that's their danger now, oddly enough, not their venom.
What is 3 times more dangerous than war?
3 wars.
Is it doing a Yui on the A40?
This is according to the United Nations.
It's probably something really inane, like cycling, trampolining.
It's work. More likely to die at work than you are at war.
Does that include soldiers?
What if you work in a shoe shop near a war?
I can always guarantee you will find some cunning way to make me not know anything. And I don't know what the statistics are for people who work in shoe shops near wars.
How many times have they actually had a war in a shopping centre? It's very rare that first world countries get invaded, but if they did, you could have a shootout in a multiplex, couldn't you?
If
Wagamama.
you lived in South London, you'd find a lot of wars in shopping centres.
I've been arrested in a shopping centre.
Have you? Tell us why.
For an act of war?
I knocked a security guard's hat off.
Recently.
A very Bertie Wooster thing to do.
Yeah. I didn't even do it on purpose. I was taking my jumper off. I was absolutely arsehole as well. And you're very much hearing my side of the story. I called it actually rather a story of defence.
I read a thing once that said a third of all accidents at work go unreported. How do they know?
Lumberjacks have the most dangerous job in America, it appears. 122 deaths per 100,000 employed.
So that song's entirely wrong, is it?
Yes. Exactly.
How could you die doing that? Just trees falling on you?
You're saying trees falling on you like that's a bit of a pansy way to go. That's a legitimate way to die.
It's just the only real sort of peril, isn't it?
There's a lot of chainsaws.
But also, you're not very well protected in panties and a bra, are you?
And also, if you're a lumberjack, you're supposed to be good at it.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to chop down trees and go, oh, it's the other side, isn't it?
Well, now, yes, according to the United Nations, more than 2 million people die from work-related accidents, as opposed to 650,000 people a year who die in war. Now, what was the most dangerous military stratagem ever devised?
Vehicle reversing.
Was it Hannibal's first crack at the Alps with chihuahuas?
The purpose of this one was to terrify the enemy. Imagine you're in the front line of an army and you're massing against the front line of another army, and the front line of the opposing army does something so extraordinary that you think, oh, my God, we're never going to beat them.
Is it from a Carry On film? Is it when they lifted their... when they lifted their kilts and they didn't wear pants? It was amazing.
Carry On Braveheart. No, it's neither of those.
They flagellate themselves. They insert something within them personally.
They chop their own heads off.
They chop their own heads off.
Their own heads
The front line of the army chops their heads off. How you do that? Grab your hair and just slice with a very sharp sword.
Who was that, then? The Scots Guards?
This was in 496 BC.
It would be the Swiss army, because they'd have something on one of those little knives.
No,
to do that, wouldn't they?
Self-decapitation. It's a country you know well, and you're wearing its flag at the moment.
This is the flag of Vietnam.
Well, that's right. We're talking 496 BC, the army of King Gujian of Yue. And he had convicted criminals in the front line and told them they had to cut their own heads off. You may say, well, why would they do that?
What's the worst that could happen?
The worst that could happen is if they didn't, then all their families and all their children would be massacred as well.
It.
They didn't seem to worry. They knew they were going to die anyway. They were condemned to death. What do we know about decapitation? Does it kill you straight away?
I know if you cut a duck's legs off, it can still swim.
It can float, but it can't swim.
Floating
I'll leave a little bit of stumpage.
No. It wouldn't be it would have to catch the currents. It would evolve into a whole different animal. It would probably get a wing up as a sail or something like that.
Didn't they discover, like, for example, at the French Revolution with the guillotine, that, like, heads could kind of, like, chat a
Carry
bit
on
after,
chatting.
So...
Well, no, you're right. There was a story during the terror of the French Revolution that two members of the National Assembly were guillotined and their heads put in the same bag straight away, and one bit the other so hard they couldn't be separated. What, just the heads?
That's holding a grudge, isn't it? For all intents and purposes, you're dead. Let it go. Yeah, you didn't get on. Whatever.
They were French.
Thank you for watching. Do remember to subscribe to the QI channel and click here to watch more videos. Well, please, come on, pick something.